Hello, and welcome to the People Often Suck podcast, where we talk about the suckiest suck that currently sucks. I'm your host, Tom.
And I'm TC.
And at the end of our episodes, we're going to share uplifting stories that will bring hope back into your heart. But for now, let's start off with our first story. So this one caught my attention because TikTok's a thing until it's banned, right?
Well, if it's banned, we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems to be the back and forth.
I'm not really into social media, but you want to do it, fine. Go nuts. I won't kink shame you. Here's the thing. I feel like social media is both ruining society, but in ways helping, because criminals can't help themselves. And they keep posting their crimes on things like TikTok.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
they're narcissists.
Yeah, exactly. Which is where this story comes into play. So this is Marlena Velez. She's only 22. And can you guess where she's from?
Don't. Really?
Yeah.
From Florida.
From Florida.
Unfortunately, that sound effect has been attached only to the state of Florida.
People got to know.
Do they? I don't know, but okay.
Yeah, so here's what she did. So she's a TikTok influencer. Take that how you will. Basically, she kind of just does videos where she showcases how she goes about her day being a mom of 2 kids, how she does her makeup, styling tips, little life hacks, being a mom, yum, 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 yum. You know, honestly, yeah, I don't know who watches it, but, she must have an audience somewhere. So
It's amazing how some of these people have an audience, period.
God, I know. Like, how many people need to do makeup tips?
Yeah, I know somebody from Disneyland who thinks that she's very popular in giving makeup tips, and she's actually kind of a joke. But anyways, keep going.
I could get behind like makeup artists.
Yes, if you are trained in the craft and you bring that in a very professional way, totally understand that.
Everything else, I'm just okay. This has been done to death. I don't think you're showcasing me anything new. Not me personally.
Right, right.
I'm not the target audience. So she first made headlines when she was arrested for allegedly stealing items from a Target in Cape Coral worth over $500. Now,
That's a small amount, though.
huh?
I mean,
Well, so yes,
I'm not justifying that it's okay, but it is
yes,
kind of a small amount.
But I know in California, they kind of
Well,
give
it'd be
you
totally free.
yeah. In California, they won't even bother. But in
Yes.
Florida, well, they actually
Well, they'll cut your arm off.
sure. Gators got to eat.
And by the way, I'm actually all for that. But
But yeah, in Florida, they actually do go after criminals. It's
Yes.
crazy that maybe that could trend and catch on to other states,
you'd think, right?
but we'll see. So here's what was so great about this was how they actually tracked her down. So this happened back in October of 2024, and the way they found her was the items she stole. She filmed herself picking up at the Target, putting in the cart, filmed herself putting it in the car, filmed herself with the clothes on, like trying her Target haul and showcasing things she bought at Target. She put all these things on TikTok and she didn't buy them. She did this thing where she goes through the self-checkout lane and she scans a different barcode than what she's trying to purchase. So, imagine, you're trying to scan a pair of shoes and instead she scans bubblegum.
Okay.
So the way she was caught was the security cameras, they see everything. So they saw this woman because okay, you can, if you're scanning bubblegum, 50 times, they're going to pick up on it. Okay.
I mean, you would think. I don't know if somebody needs that much bubble gum, but yes.
Yeah. So their loss prevention, basically, they picked this up, they got her on camera, and they, reported to the police. The police are like, okay, well, let's put her face out in the public because maybe somebody knows who she is. Okay, a friend, neighbor, family member, somebody. Well, somebody did know who she was.
Because they follow her on TikTok.
Yes. Like, hey, I know who this is. In fact, here's her name. Here's her TikTok handle. So she filmed herself with all the stolen goods and posted it. Well, she eventually, after this happened, she did take that down. However, no
Amazing.
lesson was learned here because now this was in October. She did it again in November of that same year, 2024.
Well, she was giving some time for things to cool down.
Yeah.
Or it was maybe better specials in November.
Well, regardless, she used the same special. That was the five-finger
discount.
Yeah. Yeah. So she did the same thing, filled up her cart, scanned a different barcode. This time she brought her kids with her, Got to teach them while they're young. And another guy was with her, presumed her husband. And again, they managed to track her down because that guy has a very distinct tattoo on his arm that could be seen in her videos.
So the identification is getting easier that she's basically providing through her TikTok videos.
Yeah. Honestly, it's like, why not just cut out the middleman? Just walk your ass back to the police station and be like, well, I did it again.
I don't think they all sound like that.
I mean, it's Florida.
Okay, it's a little stereotyping. I mean,
what are they going to do?
I do have some friends who live in Florida, and they don't think they sound like that. I'm just trying to...
But they're not from Florida, are they?
Well, that's true. One's from Minnesota.
Yeah.
And the other one's from California.
Okay, we don't sound like that.
True.
So I thought it was interesting that, one, she's dumb enough to post these crimes.
So how old is she again?
So she's only 22.
Okay, that's...
She has 2 kids.
2 kids already.
2 kids already. Now, based on the house, it was a nice house. And she films herself being a stay-at-home mom. So presumption is that...
So she's married?
I believe that was her husband that was with her.
Okay.
And,
with the tattoo?
Yeah. And he must make pretty decent money because it was a nice house in a nice neighborhood.
So is she bored?
Maybe.
Is this a Marge Simpson scenario when, she was feeling overwhelmed? Here's my little squirrel moment. And Homer decided, I'll get you a maid, honey. And she didn't know what to do with her days. And so she started taking him drinking. But in this case, she's going to Target and getting her 5-finger discount.
Or maybe the lifestyle that she's trying to portray to her viewers isn't quite as obtainable as she likes it to be.
But
so she has to steal it. I know.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. It's Florida.
Yes. It's Target, but it's also Florida.
That's Florida. Okay, got it. Yes.
Yeah.
We are literally ticking off so many people right now in Florida.
So, again, what are they going to do?
I know. Sorry.
So this second time around, she stole, I believe it was 16 items that were only valued at $225.
Oh, well, she's aiming lower.
No.
So
she's not going to come after me this time.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No.
Well, she also has a history because back in 2019, when she was only 17, she was arrested for grand theft auto.
Oh, damn. Are you serious?
Yeah. She stole a friend's car and then crashed it.
Wow. What a friend.
And then, just if you thought she was too snooty to not steal at Walmart, you'd be wrong because in July of 2023, she got caught for shoplifting at Walmart.
Well, that's fair and equal, not just Target. Let's say Walmart.
So at this point now, she's looking at facing a maximum sentence of 1 year in jail for the 2 Target incidences.
Got it.
Yeah.
She was definitely a winner on that one.
Oh, yeah. She's not going to win Mom of the Year.
Why is it that state? What is going on? Is it the water?
I was just going to say the water, the air. I don't know.
It could be the humidity. I mean, that would cause me to probably snap and do something.
What if it turned out that too much orange juice makes you mental?
I don't know that anybody's ever done a study on that. They should probably take a look at that. Florida orange juice, it could be deadly.
I mean, they got freaking dinosaurs there, so...
I don't think it's the orange juice. I think it's the swamp. The swamp life just gets the better of you. Now is when you could have played the Deliverance music.
Dang it. I should have had that teed up.
Too late. We'll move on to the next one.
All right.
Well, this one's going to be an oldie, but certainly sounds like a goodie. Gruesome one. I know that in one of the previous episodes, we talked a little bit about the crazy grandma from Sacramento, Dorothy Puente. Well, we have another grandma. This one happened quite a while ago, though, so this is not a more recent story. But I thought it was so good that I wanted to share it.
You got to get off that grandma kick.
You know, who would have ever thought that grandma could kill? But grandma can kill. You remember that old Christmas song, Grandma Got Ran Over by a Reindeer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, grandma got back up and then killed the reindeer and the rest of,
Or maybe it was retaliation.
It was retaliation. It was one of those horror stories. Yet again, Blumhouse could be a good horror movie. Grandma gets run over by the reindeer, doesn't fully die, comes back with revenge, and decides to kill the family.
Or other way around, she kills a reindeer, and then they come after her.
And the reindeer comes, oh, well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Well, Nanny Doss, D-O-S-S, Nanny Doss, confessed to killing 4 of her husbands,
Nanny?
her mother, sister, and 2 of her children, and 2 of her grandsons, and a mother-in-law over a 27-year killing spree.
Damn. She stayed
This
busy.
is a lovely picture of Granny.
Oh my gosh.
Granny Doss, but the first name is Nanny. So,
I wonder what her profession was.
Professional killer. I don't know.
Well, it's just, you give somebody a name, you kind of almost, pigeonhole them into a certain profession, like, Cinnamon or Crystal.
I'm not sure you walked into her house and smelt the warm odor of a Christmas cookie being baked in the oven or the pies being made for Thanksgiving or whatever, and then turn around and think that they're probably laced with some sort of arsenic or something.
Can really go for a sugar cookie right now.
Oh my gosh. Anyhow.
I gotta stop doing this when I'm hungry.
Yeah, I know. So a local Oklahoma newspaper, I failed to mention where this was, another Midwestern story. A local Oklahoma newspaper basically, said, look, she seemed like a loving grandmother with a charming smile. Although she does, maybe she looks like a charming one. I'm not sure. But the investigators began to suspect that there was something a little more sinister behind that smile after every member of the family mysteriously died one by one over the years.
Over 27 years.
Over 27. Took them a while to figure that one out.
Well, clearly the family never figured it out.
Well, maybe. So, interestingly enough, it says here actually, in the end, the giggling granny, literally their words, not mine, admitted to murdering 11 of her family members. So the story, if you jump back in time, she grew up in a household where her father was a bit demanding and abusive. The sad part is, so Nanny Doss was born in 1905 in Alabama. So again, one of those interesting flyover states that are down in the South. And she was clear to say that she had an unhappy and difficult childhood, as her father largely kept her out of school to work on the family farm. He forbid his daughters from wearing makeup or dress clothes, in growing up. So he was a very repressive, very abusive, very demanding father. Doesn't necessarily mean that you should become a murderer, but this gives some idea of the childhood upbringing. At one point, according to a newspaper article, this strict shielding ended up causing at one time a head injury that Doss has sustained that has impacted her throughout most all of her life. So apparently when she was boarding a train, her head was slammed into a metal bar.
Ow.
And that contributed to her struggles growing up. The injury led to severe headaches, according to the newspaper. So, that had an impact, for the rest of her life as far as numerous headache issues and so on and so forth. Again, not a justification to make you into a murderer, but this is just more ingredients getting thrown into,
This sounds like something Disney would do to justify one of their villains. Like, oh, well,
yes,
the
that's
reason
true.
they're so bad is because they hurt their head.
This would be like taking the movie Halloween
Mm-hmm.
and doing a prequel where this is why Mike Myers is the way he is. He really is just misunderstood.
Yeah. He didn't get the candy he wanted.
Exactly. So Doss had over her lifetime 5 husbands, 4 of which were killed. However, her first husband is the only surviving husband. So from 1923 to 27, she was with her first husband. And that first marriage produced 4 daughters.
All right. 23 to 27
1923 to 1927, yeah.
and 4 daughters.
They had 4 daughters.
One every year.
She was cranking them out.
I think they call that Irish twins.
I've never heard that term before.
Oh, yeah.
No, did not know that. So, according to a newspaper article doing the story about this happy granny, 2 of her daughters suddenly died in 1927, suspected from food poisoning.
Okay.
Well, this kind of prompted her husband to become a little suspicious. Yes, you should be suspicious. 2 of your 4 daughters just died from food poisoning.
Like close together?
Well, they both died in 27, so
Okay, so same
I
year.
would say somewhat close together. So he decided, I'm getting the hell out of Dodge. He took the other 2 daughters and he left her.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like...
That's why he's the only surviving husband, by the way.
Okay. I was curious if he took the daughters or just left them with, but yeah,
Yeah.
good on you.
So, but unfortunately, it did impact his mother. So the husband's mother, okay, his name was Charlie Braggs. That's who Nanny Doss married. So Bragg's mother, unfortunately, suddenly died. So he had to return to his childhood home soon after and ended up divorcing Grandma Doss. So that's why he's the only surviving husband.
He was smart enough.
So in the coming years, Miss Nanny decided to, get with 4 other guys to become husbands, all of them which mysteriously died. So the first one, who was an alcoholic, died after ingesting rat poison, and they had 16 years of marriage. So she was actually married with him a long time. Took a while for her to do him in. And then Artie Lanning was the second, or actually I should say,
Third
husband, but the second husband to die.
Yeah.
He was an alcoholic womanizer who also died after ingesting rat poison. Must be her favorite option to kill off her husbands.
Yeah.
This was before Doss allegedly burnt down the house with his mother inside as well.
The lawnmower's back.
Oh, well,
Jeez.
we'll just keep going. Richard Morton, so husband number 4, but technically husband number 3 that was killed. He died 3 months into their marriage after drinking coffee spiked with arsenic.
Oh, so she upped her game.
Yeah, she changed it,
Probably because he wasn't an alcoholic.
Probably. Or she may have seen the old Cary Grant movie, Arsenic and Old Lace, and thought, I should try arsenic. And then the 4th in the lineup of death, but 5th husband, Samuel Doss. So that's where she gets her last name from that she kept. Samuel Doss, a Nazarene minister. You would think she was at least going in the right direction. So, yeah.
Man of God.
Who disapproved of Doss's romance novels and died a little more than a year into their marriage from a similar arsenic poison found in his coffee.
That's why you got to make your own coffee, fellas.
Yeah, I mean, if any guy out there hasn't watched the TV show Snapped, you better be watching it to understand if your wife might be plotting something.
Oh, is that like murder porn?
It's totally murder porn. I have a very close friend of mine, and she religiously watches that show. And I'm like, are you getting...
ideas?
Are you getting ideas?
Writing?
Do I need to be like forewarning your husband about this?
She's just taking notes the whole time.
Finally, after husband number 4 dies, it finally raised some suspicion. I mean, I don't know why it would take so long, but it would finally raise some suspicion there. So a local doctor performing an autopsy revealed massive amounts of arsenic in his system.
Where's she getting this arsenic?
That's a good question. I have no idea where she got the arsenic, but she...
Like, imagine that's not something you can just go down to your local CVS and, it's next to the Tylenol.
You're like, oh, I'm going to get some Advil. I'm going to get some, Imodium 80. And some arsenic.
Yeah,
Good.
actually, this brings up a great question. Why does it even exist? It's only meant for one thing, right? So why would...
That's actually a really good question. Now
Right?
that you've actually mentioned that, what is it used? I mean, was it used to kill like rats or varmints that you were trying to get rid of?
Well, that would just be rat poison. Like, what's the difference?
But maybe they didn't have outright rat poison. Well, obviously they did.
You said the first two died from rat poison. Which...
That's a good question. Now I got to go look that up. Now you've just sparked an interest that I have to go find out.
Yeah.
So in summation of Granny Killer, so she did in let's see here. Let me get the death toll here of her 11 members. So she's responsible for, again, 2 of her children, which would be the first marriage of the guy who survived.
Right.
Her own mother.
Well, mother-in-law, right?
Well, her own mother. Okay, so she killed her own mother.
Oh.
Lanny's mother, so that was the first husband, so mother-in-law.
Okay.
And one of her own sisters.
Damn.
And 2 of her grandsons.
Oof.
She confessed to the crimes while being questioned for Samuel's murder, according to the Encyclopedia of Alabama. She's in the Encyclopedia of Alabama, leading to an initial death sentence after she was found guilty for murder. A judge later declared her insane, however, and she was removed. The death sentence was removed from her.
Damn.
But she wasn't released. She just was removed from the death sentence.
Yeah.
So she did die in custody in the McAllister State Prison in Tulsa, Oklahoma, after she was diagnosed with leukemia, according to the newspaper Phoenix. She was 59 years old, and according to the newspaper, died exactly 10 years after she was first taken into custody. Crazy-ass grandma.
I just don't get why you killing your family members.
The first 2 were her daughters.
Yeah.
Like, why would you? What
Your own
possessed
kids.
you? I know that you hit your head on a metal bar.
I don't think that sparks a primal need to kill.
No.
What do I know?
I mean, I ran into the top frame of a van door when I was running from a scavenger hunt thing way back in the day when I was working at Disney. I banged my forehead pretty hard. They had to grab me, pull me in. They cared about the clue first, and then they attended to me to see if I was okay. I didn't go on any killing spree after that. I mean, I thought about it, but no, I didn't go on any killing spree after that.
We've all had murderous thoughts. The thing is not to act on them.
Correct. There's a difference between thinking thoughts and acting upon those thoughts.
Yeah.
And most civilized people don't act on those thoughts.
So you think maybe the head injury broke that barrier?
It might have. And for 11 years or 27 years, she killed 11 of her family members. But the only one that survived was her first husband. Smart man that he did.
And 2 of the daughters.
And 2 of the 4, daughters. But not even her own mother survived. She killed her own mother. It was the father that was abusing her.
Where was he at?
I think he just died of natural causes.
Oh. So she didn't get her chance.
No, she did. So it was like, "Now, Mom, you were married to her. You must die."
Maybe in her weird brain, that made sense.
You might want to think about it next time we're in a family gathering.
Yeah, put that in people's...
Well, let's turn to a more positive story.
God,
I'm sure that
yes.
you have one for us, Mr. Tom.
Jeez, yes, this is... Talk about a palate cleanser. So, this is all about the Deming Animal Guardians. It's a no-kill animal shelter charity. Already, I love them.
Yeah.
No kill.
I'm already there.
So,
we went from killing to no killing.
to no
I
killing.
like that.
Yes.
I like that.
See, it wasn't even planned.
We can turn the story around.
Yes, it can be done.
Yes.
So back in 2023, this charity started a very interesting dog training program. It involves inmates.
Obviously not Granny Doss,
No.
because she might have killed one of the animals.
No. So this was in a southern New Mexico correctional facility.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So basically what this was is it was to not only socialize the dogs and teach basic obedience, to help them get adopted more easily, but it also would help the inmates develop compassion and comply with the rules so they can participate in the program. So it's, kind of win-win. So this charity is getting people to help train their dogs. The inmates are getting a special privilege for being good and obeying the rules. Problem was somebody needed to train the trainers. So they needed a dog trainer. Well, that cost money. Well, the inmates, upon hearing about this, started their own little fundraiser to pay for it.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So they convinced at least one of the officers to go to the Sam's Club and just, buy a bunch of bulk and stuff, bring it in, and inmates would buy the item.
Right.
And they'd mark it under toiletry kits or something like that. And, there'd be just a little bit of profit. So, if they're trying to buy toothpaste or something,
right.
It cost them $2, but the inmate bought it for $3.
Okay. So the extra dollar goes into the pot of fun.
Yeah. So they raised they managed to net $350.
Okay.
Because so many inmates were just so jazzed about this. They didn't even care that they weren't participating in it. They just liked the idea of this program existing, having dogs around. I mean, literally, anything from the outside world is enough to entertain you. I
Right.
mean, if you've ever gone a day where the power went out, you're like, oh my God, what do I do? Obviously, you're going to go to your phone because that's the only source of entertainment you can get. But then, if you start
once the battery goes
once
out.
the battery goes out,
Yep.
well, okay, then what? I guess you grab a book.
I wouldn't.
Yeah. So the littlest thing could amount to a huge
Sure.
amount of entertainment for these people.
Well, and not only that, I would imagine any outside life you would be welcoming in that would be fresh and new. And a dog, generally speaking, just wants to be your buddy.
Yeah.
If you treat them well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this program, it essentially it teaches the dogs boundaries. So not just sit, stay, stuff like that, but you're not allowed on the furniture,
Right.
things like that. So you can go here, but you're not allowed here. Basic commands, things like that. Also potty training, and then the inmates, they not only learn these teachable skills of dog training, but they also learn basic grooming skills, first aid for dogs, and like I mentioned, potty training.
So taking care of another life.
Yes.
Which helps to teach those fundamental things in life that also might help some of them to be rehabilitated if they happen to be released back out into society.
Right. Because, a lot of people don't understand or maybe realize or even care, but, once you've been in the system, it's insanely hard to find a job because people, they just see that you were in jail. They're not willing to give you a second chance. So to learn a skill like this would be really ideal for
Right.
people when they get out. I mean, dogs are a dime a dozen. You can go nearly anywhere
Right.
and be a dog trainer with a skill like that. It wouldn't matter if you were in jail.
Exactly.
So they learn all these traits, and the dogs basically live with them during this period, and they take them out 4 times a day to pee and play and work on all their commands. But it's cool because nearly every pup that was put in this program was adopted.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
This is great. I love this.
Yeah.
And this was done where again?
This was in New Mexico.
Which, by the way, stray dogs out in New Mexico, whether these were strays that were, saved or rescued or whatever. But I mean, it's tough out there. I mean, the dog that we have at home, we rescued. We drove all the way to a little town on the eastern side of Phoenix to pick up our dog. That she was just roaming out there, which, She wouldn't have lasted long because she's out in the middle of the desert type of thing. And, New Mexico is pretty barren if you've ever been through it. But that's really cool that they are doing this. That is helping these animals on one hand, as far as getting them ready and they're out getting adopted. And then on the other hand, it's helping these inmates to understand the importance of life and taking care of it and finding the right priorities in life as opposed to what obviously led them there in the first place.
Exactly.
That's cool.
When I went out looking for a dog, I actually was looking for those traits. Like,
Right.
Are they potty trained? Like, do they know basic commands, things like that? Because just that little much is a big deal. Because a lot of people, unfortunately, don't want to put in the time.
It's too bad that Nanny Doss didn't have a chance to learn how to take care of a dog.
I'm glad.
Well, no, she might have changed before she went on her killing spree. You never know.
Or she might have killed the dog.
Or the dog kill her before she kills
I'm fine.
11 family members.
I'd be fine with that.
Like a total Cujo situation.
In the multiverse, I'm sure that probably happened somewhere.
Multiverse.
But yeah, no, people like that, no, they weren't given dogs. These were like low-level criminals.
No,
These
of course not.
These weren't crazy psychopaths that were given a dog. No, you had to, basically prove yourself. Prove yourself to not only get in the program, but then you had to continue to prove yourself to stay in the program, which teaches a lot of responsibility. Again, like I said, you got to play by the rules. And you got to learn to take care of another life, not just yourself. And I think that's something that I think a lot of kids should learn.
They would understand the importance of life, that if somebody's relying on you to take care of them and all of that. Yeah, I think there could be a lot of people who potentially could go down the wrong path, could hopefully maybe straighten that out if they had the proper perspective in life at a younger age.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there are too many people out there, a lot of POSs who can just acquire a dog and they don't.
I don't even want to talk about what happens to POSs and how they handle animals, and that already gets me. Even in a movie, I get more upset about the animal dying than sometimes the person.
Oh, I know. I know.
And that's probably not balanced right in life, but it still bothers me.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, in John Wick, you were rooting for the dog. It's like, don't you dare shoot that dog.
Oh, I know. I was very upset about that. And then I felt like I was John Wick going to get revenge.
See, first movie, totally justifiable.
Yeah. Well, until our next episode, thank you for that heartwarming close on this one.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for allowing us to be a part of your busy day. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe for more stories.
And as always, be good humans for F's sake.